Hello, everyone. This week's podcast on Talk for Strength, we've gone down a different route. As I've always said to you, I want to have the podcast being eclectic, which is my new word. So we're going to have all different people, all different subjects, with most of them being that the person we speak to has gone through something that has meant that they had to go through a period of adjustment in their mind. So they've had their sadness and they're working through it. They have their ups and downs, but they're working through it, like myself, like many others. So what the person we brought in today is Shelley. I was introduced to Shelley via TikTok. Shelley is down as Stoma Warrior, and to me, she's brilliant. She does a lot of posts helping people.
You're so kind.
Helping people that you can ask her questions. She kind of puts people's minds at rest, including mine. And I'm nearly a year in with mine, and there's questions that people have asked her that I've not even thought of. So what we're going to do is what we always do: is let Shelley introduce herself. During the talking, I'll jump in with things. As you know, we never rehearse this. They're a little bit rough. They're a little bit rough around the edges, but I've got a lot to learn with this podcasting malarkey. You know, I'm an old man and things don't come to me so quick on these computers. So let's take it for what it is and introduce Shelley. Thanks for coming on, Shelley.
That's all right.
And what it's going to be is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, my name's Shelley. I'm in my middle 50s, shall we say. I used to be a nurse, and one day I was on ward and I couldn't feel my arm. And I thought, it's okay, I've been leaning on it, been sleeping on it, be fine. And shift went on and I couldn't feel my fingers, and it went on all day. And I wasn't getting any feeling back, and I was just getting little pins and needles right on the end. And it was starting to really bug me. So I went to my sister and I said, still can't feel my arm. She went, what, all day? Off to occupational therapy for you. So she sent me there and she said, oh, well, you can't work with that because I can't give medication out. I couldn't hold it properly. Said, you're going to have to stay out of work until you get this sorted. The next day, if I moved my head in a certain way, it was disgusting, exorcist, projectile vomiting over everybody. And so it was like, right, what's going on? So they sent me for every test you could possibly think of. Took them 4 years. I had this test. I had a tilt test. I had a neurological test. They tested me for lupus. They tested me for Guillain-Barré. They tested me for all sorts of different things. No. And all this time, I'm projectile vomiting over my family. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't do anything. And I went to the doctors for something else, and she said, so what did they say about your MRI then? I went, what MRI would that be? She goes, what do you mean? They've not sent you for an MRI? I went, no. Every other test you could possibly think of, but not. Right, I'm booking one of them. Went for an MRI, and they said, right, you need to go to a neurosurgeon. Oh, so I'm thinking brain tumours. I'm thinking, oh my goodness. So I went to this lady. She sat me down. She said, I'm sorry, but there's absolutely nothing I can do for you. And at that point, I'm thinking, does that mean I'm dying? You know, I'm like, oh my God. She goes, but the chap next door, he can help you. And I went in and I sat down, and my MRI was up on the front and I could see these blobs. And I'm thinking, oh God, I've got brain tumours and I'm going to die. And he said, the first thing he said to me was, oh, don't worry, they're not brain tumours. And he said, no, they're lesions. And I'm like, what's the difference? He said, oh, haven't they told you? You've got MS. No, told me nothing. He said, oh, well, I'm a neurologist. My name is, and explained all these lesions and what they do. And he said, the reason why you're having what you're having is this lesion is sat at the minute on this part of your brain, which is causing you to do this. And then he explained all that, what MS is and everything like that. So I said, so can I work then? He went, oh, no. I said, what do you? He said, this is so unpredictable and can affect you. So there is no way that the NHS will insure you to work. So that was my nursing career down the loo. And I got medically retired at that point.
So how did the not the information. I mean, that bedside manner that you've just experienced is horrendous, but
Mm.
the getting used to the physical side of it.
Yeah.
How long was it? Once you knew, was it a progressive getting worse, or did it stay the
It
same
got worse for a
4
bit
years
because
time?
then obviously I'd been some time without any treatment or medication or anything like that. So
Yeah,
they started me on the basic medication at that time. It's a lot different now. I've got a lot more options now than
yeah,
we did then. And that did help. It meant that I could actually, even though I had to walk around like this,
yeah, yeah.
actually went to the pub like this. Everybody thought, because if I moved my head, that was it.
Well,
And
I know you like your darts. How did you play darts with your head wonky at one
I
side?
learned how to play with my head on the one side. And I kid you not, I was at my own dartboard doing that.
Oh, you ain't got a video of it, have you?
Oh, I wish. No. I've also learned how to play in my wheelchair because if they think I'm giving up darts, I've got another thing coming.
Right.
But yeah, so that were funny. And I had to like take lots and lots of medication. And some days I didn't go because I couldn't stand up. Some days I didn't go because vision it affected my vision that day. It can affect all sorts of different things at different times. Each day is different.
Yeah.
There's no day the same,
Yeah.
ever.
So the next question's always going to be the adjustment, not the adjustment of MS, the adjustment of having your career taken away from you. And
I had my cry, believe me.
yeah, well, that's the question, because it isn't just a cry, is it? When your career is taken away from you, what people don't realise is you have now got all of that time you would have spent at work. Is your mind is working overtime, feeling sorry for yourself. Well, mine was feeling sorry for yourself, angry. Mine was exceptional anger, useless. So
Mine wasn't anger. Mine was, well, it sort of was. I sort of felt, oh my God, now I'm useless and now I'm a burden.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was, I am now a burden to my husband and my daughter. They
yeah,
can now not do what they need to do because all they'll be thinking about is having to look after me. And that upset me more than anything. And I was like, well, how did I get to this point? And then I'm asking questions, is it genetic? Have I passed it to my daughter? Did my mother give it to me? And all these sorts of things. And I'm like, and that was the worry of that. But I'm lucky I have a wonderful family. My
yeah.
husband and my daughter are amazing and
Mm.
supported me completely through my anger stroke, blubbing stroke, oh, now I'm burdened phase. And we've now come to our agreement that it is what it is. What comes up, we will deal with it. We will plan for it. I've even planned for if my MS progresses this way, we're going to do this. And if my MS progresses that way, we're going to do the other. And we
Yeah.
have a full plan and everybody knows about it. If I'm having a bad day, I've got plans as to do about that. And we just plan it.
So how low did you get when you were on your own?
Very. I wanted just to go. And then that would solve everybody's problems. I wouldn't be in pain anymore. I wouldn't be causing any problems anymore. And my husband and daughter would be free. That's what I thought. That was what my dark place was. And a lot of people do go through that.
Yeah, same. I went through it. I've written a book, and the book has got my plans, in detail. And once I'd made my plans, I was very comfortable with it. I just needed in my head one more knockback. All the hope from these neurologists and these professors being sent to. It was I was better when they told me there was no hope, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
When
because you knew where you stood.
Yeah, when every time I went in and I was going for a surgery on my spine or anything that I was going through, every time I went in, you put yourself under this drama, which it is, and you're being operated on in order to get better. But I wasn't getting better. And when I received this letter, sorry, I know this is your podcast, but I'm just
your podcast. It's not mine.
No, what I mean is, I want people to understand what we go through, or what we've been through, and what we continue to go through. But I was at my best when hope was taken away from me. When people say hope dies last, I was glad when it went, because it was, you learn to live with this now and get on with it.
My whole thing now is today. We deal
Yeah.
with today.
Yeah.
Today I am doing this because I can.
Yeah.
Forget about what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is tomorrow. Today
Yeah.
is today.
Yeah.
But we have got a plan that if my MS can go three ways. Number one, I lose all function on my legs and mobility permanently, because
Yeah.
some days it does go, but then comes back. But it can either go permanently, so that's wheelchair. So that's number one. Number two, my brain goes even more kerfuddled than it already is, and I don't know who I am, where I live, who my husband is, or my daughter, or anything like that. And the brain just goes kaplooey.
Yeah.
That's number two. Or option three, both of those things.
Wow.
So I know now when it progresses, those are your three options. I can cope with number one. Number one, we have a plan for.
Because your
Number
brain's still
two,
working.
depending on how severe that is, sort of got a plan.
Yeah.
But if it goes too severe or goes to number three, I already have a living will and a plan for that.
So
that'll be bye-bye.
Is it going to that stage? Is that going to happen?
Well, this is it. You don't know. My MS has progressed, a secondary progressive from relapsing and remitting. But it's quite a slow progression. I've had some people with MS, it can be quite fast. Some people are diagnosed with primary MS and are bedbound from practically day one and things like that. But most people are diagnosed with relapsing remitting. Some people don't progress at all and they just carry on. This progression that I've had is to do with numbness and dizziness and pain in my head and the TN.
Yeah.
That may stop progressing because of the medication that I'm on. If that's the case, then I'll be as I am forever till, whenever. Or it could progress even further, debilitate me even further, and then we have to go down the plans we've made.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but the family know how this could go. They know that it could be tomorrow, because it can be like that.
Yeah.
And we have planned for that. And I've now come to myself that, right, I will take today and I will do my TikTok and I will do the washing up if I can do it, and I will have as much fun as I possibly can each day, because I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think you're brilliant for having that attitude, but you led me on nicely to the TN. As you know from our discussion beforehand, I can only remember the neuralgia bit. What is it? Trigeminal.
Trigeminal, yeah.
Right, trigeminal neuralgia. I suffer from it, and I get heavily medicated for it. That's why I can't remember it. My mind. I don't know if it happens to you, but
no medications that anyone can give you that will help. It does squat, does nothing.
No, I tell you what. Now when I get it, there's nothing that'll touch it.
No,
but
nothing.
What the carbamazepine and the gabapentin is doing is holding it off. So this is all Formica in here. I can't find no wood, so I'll have to do this. But if you could tell us, so the people watching can understand what an attack feels like.
Hell, actually, but
they call it the suicide disease. So that's
it is hell. It is relentless and it is evil, and it comes on you whenever it wants, and it can last for as many days, weeks as it wants, or it can last an hour. You don't know when. And it feels like you are being electrified by a hot poker in your face that's 1,000 times sharper than you could ever imagine, and it's on your face and stays for about 5 seconds, goes up your head, then down your body, and then goes. And then you just feel normal, and you think, oh, great. And then 10 seconds later, it happens again.
Yeah.
And then it's no, you don't know when it's going to stop. And I had one yesterday. It lasted about 5 hours. after about hour 4, I was ready to chuck the towel in. I was right. So I have a 5-step plan when I start getting it, because I get mini twinges
Yeah.
to start off. I take that medication. If that doesn't work, I take some more of that. That's plan 2. And when I get to step 5, that's zonk out time.
Yeah.
Take as much medication as I possibly can so I go to sleep. So hopefully I wake up without it.
Yeah.
If I wake up without it, solid.
Yeah.
If I don't, that's the phone to the surgeon to have my face blown up.
Yeah. Yeah. I was offered Botox, but as you can see, that I'm 120. You wouldn't think it. I've had too much of it. The Botox is. It seems to me like it's all the neurosurgeons are. We can do it, but there's the crossing fingers thing. They're
They
not.
explained it to me. I mean, my
They're
neurosurgeon
not
is
really.
lovely.
Yeah, they're not really. In
They
my
gave
opinion,
it a 30%. It may do something.
Yeah, I'm not really. If I was they were gonna do something to me, which I really do not want any more surgery. But that is the one I would. They'd have to open me up and do what they're meant to do
I've
properly.
actually just had a letter. I can read it out to you. Hang on. Because no, that's the end. Where's the one? I had a letter yesterday from my neurosurgeon who was contacting my doctor. Where's I put it? And he's actually named what the surgery is called. I wish I could find it. Is it this one?
What they do, they release the pressure on the nerve, don't they?
Right, here we go. He sent it yesterday to explain to my GP what it is he's going to do if I ask him. And it's called percutaneous trimedullary ganglion balloon rhizotomy.
Yeah. The ganglion is the swelling that's touching the nerve.
So basically, they go in your face and they blow it up, and then they've got to open up your jaw, blow it up with a big balloon, tie all these things off, sever all the nerve endings and everything, but you've got to have your jaw pinned together for 3 months.
Oh, lovely.
And they have to break your jaw to get in there.
Right. Well, me and you don't know each other, but you love a bunny. I love a bunny. So having our jaws wired up for 3 months ain't going to do us any favours, is it?
The hubby might be happy for 3 months, but no. So I'm trying to avoid that. That's last resort, last resort, apart from the other.
Yeah. Well, when I made that post the other day about the hernia on the stoma, people were saying, "Oh, can you get it done? Can you get it fixed? Can you get it fixed?" I don't want to, and unless this twists and I get.
So you've got a pastoral hernia.
Yeah.
Same as mine. Mine's about the size of a tangerine at the moment.
Yeah, mine's kind of not far off of football at the moment. But the thing with it is it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I was playing with my son in the snow, didn't lift him up, and that night when I got showered, which is a big thing for me, the shower. I'm not smelly, I'm not dirty, but I don't know what's happened. But since all of this and the mental state and everything else, getting showered is like a drama. Everything.
It's a process.
Everything you have to do because of the pain in my legs, and I feel like I've got constant sunburn through the neuralgia down my legs. So when hot waters hits it, it's almost like
pins and needles hitting you all the time.
Yeah, if someone's hitting you with stinging nettles all the time. So you're going to have a shower, which you love before you go to bed or whenever your choice of showering is. And for me, it's almost like, my toes have curled now, all of the things that goes with neurological issues. Going for a shower is horrendous. And that night after playing with my son in the snow and not diving around, we made snow angels in the garden, my wife went to me, "What's that?" And, this thing had popped out, no pain, no nothing. So on TikTok, when people were saying to me, "Oh, why don't you get that fixed? I hope the surgeons can fix it." Because I've heard the positives and negatives, and it might pop out again, or it might find its way somewhere else, or whatever. The only thing that I would consider having surgery for now is the TN, because that is jump off a bridge type pain.
Your hernia it depends, right? Hernias can cause problems.
Yeah.
They can grow.
Yeah.
And they can grow rapidly, or they can grow slowly.
Yeah.
But if they start to grow rapidly, that can cause a problem because it can cause strangulation in your bowel, which it definite no. So it's just, I mean, I have a small one. I wear support all the time. I get up, I put it on. It's part of my part of my clothing. It's part of
Yeah,
my underwear, as you are, because I do not want that to grow ever.
yeah.
Because I know what hernias can do if they get too big. Yours being the size of a football, don't let it get any bigger than that,
Yeah.
because
I might be exaggerating a bit, but it's
it can affect your breathing, it can affect your output, it can affect how it can get your bowel can get twisted round it and things like that. So do keep an eye on that.
right. What I've done now, typically me, is jumped. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a couple of steps back, and we're gonna talk about. We know you've had the MS, you've got the MS, and you're living with the MS, and it's led on to
Hmm.
something else, which is you tell me because I've got that, and I can never remember the names. I'm not that good. Although, I mean, I've had people on groups that have got what I've got, and they're saying, "Where was your fistulas? Where were your this? Where were you that?" And they're Americans, and they're going, "Oh, mine's in this and below that and this and that." I had to look mine up on the doctor's letter the other week, and I've had it 4.5 years. So I now know my fistula was at T8 in my spine. So that's where I am. I now know that, but I can't remember the names of it. But the neurological bowel, whatever.
Neurological bowel dysfunction.
Yeah, that's what I've got. So tell me about yours, please.
What it was is because what MS does, it breaks down your myelin sheath. It's basically your body is attacking itself.
Yeah,
So what happened for me, the signals that go from your brain that tell your bowel to work and to do and everything like that, well, they'd 86 and gone off
yeah,
and gone on holiday
yeah,
permanently, which
yeah,
meant there was no communication to my bowel from my brain. So I could eat or drink something, it's not doing anything, so it's going to go straight through me and out.
yeah,
So it was not getting, my bowel was not getting fed or getting anything. So it died,
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
So it wasn't functioning. So I could just stand up and then cover the floor in poo. Or
yeah,
I could go out with my daughter and everything and cover the shopping centre in poo.
yeah,
Just like that.
yeah,
I could not live like that. I had to go out wearing them huge, massive adult nappy things, take changes of clothing with me just in order to leave the house. And it was, I was starting to get agoraphobic
yeah,
because I'm like, I can't go. I can't leave unless I take a change of clothes, all these blooming embarrassing nappies or anything. And you just sat there in your own poo in the middle of a public place. And I was like, I can't do this. So I'd gone to the doctors and I told them all about this. And again, they started with the testing and oh, I went for this test and then they stuck marshmallow stuff up me, see how long it would take. And they did this and they did that. And then eventually they said, oh, yes, you've got neurogenic bowel dysfunction. And I'm like, does that mean that my bowel's down? He went, yeah. So I said, are you going to give me a stoma then? He went, oh, are you prepared for that? I said, I've been asking it for 18 months, practically begging them to give it to me.
Well,
So,
I,
yeah.
I'm not. I'm not glad that you've been through this, right? Because I don't wish it on anyone. But I'm glad to have found someone that is describing what I lived through. Because
Mm,
what my surgeons did, they put a pacemaker in my back, connected it to my spinal nerves, and what it did, it tightened up my sphincter to
right.
try and make the diarrhea less like a Karcher pressure washer.
But I called
Because
it Niagara.
yeah, no. So what was happening was I'd have this thing, on a high level, which you have to adjust to because it's not very pleasant when you're turning it up.
No.
And and then what happened is I didn't go to the toilet for a few days, right?
Mm,
So it worked out how to get out, and then by the time it did come out, it was like a pressure washer. And there was two big moments for me. There was one when I was in hospital, and I could only get reception at the at the reception basically for the phone. So I used to just sit there for hours and I talk to my missus, I send messages, I put things on Facebook. And I got up and started walking back to the ward. And I looked round and it was like, when you see films of a dead body being pulled along. it was
You were
poo.
leaving a trail.
Yeah, I was leaving a trail of poo all along. So I looked at my legs soaking wet with poo. Went into not into the ward. I went into a toilet with the red cord. By the time a young male nurse got to me, I was broke down in tears. I'd had enough now.
Mm.
You know, this thing in my back wasn't working. I had moments. I'd come back to England because I live in Germany, so I'd come back to England for the football, and at half time, I'd shit myself, and I'd spend the next half. So I've come all the way to England to watch a football match. I'd spend the next half of the game in the disabled toilets redressing. Then, like my son would say to me, "We've made arrangements to go and meet Steve or John or Martin." I said, "I can't go in the pub now because although you're telling me I don't smell, I need to shower. I need to get home and shower." You can't have this happen. And then the final straw was one day it happened to me, and I was on my way to work, and I pulled my top off to put a fresh top on, and there was poo in the back of the top, which went all up the back of my hair, right? And I just stood there and I thought, that's it now. I'm going to go to the hospital. I didn't make an appointment. I went in there, and when the doctor walked past, I said, "I've got to have a stoma. I've got to have a stoma." And they said, "Are you sure?" This has been heaven to the life
Yeah.
compared to the life that I had and what you had.
I wouldn't be without my stoma now. I mean, when they obviously went to discuss, and they sort of said, well, it could be a colostomy, it could be an ileostomy. It all depends on how much of your bowel we've got to take out.
Yeah.
Because there were certain parts of it that had just died and just shriveled up and gone necrotic, and they didn't want that bit turning into the C word.
Yeah.
And then they found some polyps, and they had to test them and blah blah. So what they wanted to do was leave parts, not take it all out, because they didn't want to disturb it. Because they thought if they disturbed it, it might do weird things.
Yeah.
So I do have to have a check on that and have it checked back, just to make sure that I don't have to go in and have the rest of my bowel removed, or go and have more chuffing treatment, because I did have to have treatment for the polyps and stuff and everything like that, and that was not pleasant.
Yeah.
But the operation itself, I was just like, yeah. So if I wake up and it's on my left hand side, colostomy, and if I wake up it's on this side, it's an ileostomy, and I'd already planned exactly what was going to do, what I needed to. I researched the living hell out of both scenarios, so that I knew when I woke up which side, and then I did my usual thing. I planned it.
You sound like you're a planner.
Oh yeah,
so
everything has to be planned to have checklists. You know, when I do my TikTok, my battles, I have everybody's battles on the list so that I don't miss them.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, can you tell us the difference between the colostomy and the ileostomy? What are the differences?
Right, a colostomy is made out of your large intestine, so it comes that way. And depending on how much they have to take out, I've got an end loop one where the stoma is looped, and then ended out.
You got two. Does that mean you got two openings?
No,
or it's just been opened like that.
It's just been opened like that, so it basically looks like a small bum.
Yeah, that's what I've got. No, I've got the
so that's it. So it's a colostomy is created out of your large intestine, and ileostomy is created out of your small intestine. So it's on the left hand side, and because it's to do with transit time, ileostomies are more liquid in nature. For your output, because the transit time from eating and drinking is shorter, because it goes to your small intestine, and that's why.
So is it easier for us to deal with a colostomy than an ileostomy? Because
I think so. I think so, because our output it can be Niagara still. I mean, can be, but it's not constantly liquid all the time. It's only liquid some of the time. Whereas an ileostomy, it is just liquid, and it's more. It can cause more leaks, and it can cause more issues because you have more dietary. You shouldn't have this, because it can cause. There are more planning, and with an ileostomy there are different things. It's harder, I think, with an ileostomy than a colostomy.
So how long have you had your ostomy now?
2 years. I had my surgery on election day 2024. That's why I called my stoma Sir Keir Stoma. husband's idea. He
Yeah.
came to visit me after my surgery. He took one look at my scar and went, well, that looks like Frankenstein. Right, we're going to name your stoma. It's election day today. It's going to be full of hot air and mostly full of poop. Circular and that was it.
My one was because we've got living in Germany, but we've still got our bag for life. You know, the big Sainsbury's, like Tesco bags, the wax things.
Yeah.
So mine's just BFL. It's just bag for life.
Bag for life.
Yeah, just the BFL now. So so
we wanted to have fun with my stoma because we have a code in our house that if I need to let the air out of my bag, in other words, fart, I go into a different room because the smell is beyond comprehension. It's nasty. We call that making statements because it's hot air.
Yeah.
And then if I have to go and change my bag or anything, that's a cabinet reshuffle. Right. Because it's out with the old shit and in ready for the new.
Same old. No, it sounds good. At least you've got the comedy side of it, the acceptance, the make people smile, make people laugh. Because I said before,
if you can't have a bit of fun with it, then you're worrying about it, and it becomes more of a burden to you than it being part of you.
I'm on a couple of groups that are brilliant. I will say they're brilliant. The people are fantastic, but some people just can't get it. They're not accepting it. You want to give them a hug and say, calm down, but you can't, obviously, because it's on a Facebook group. But they just can't get it. And they go, I've had mine 2 years. I don't want to leave the house. I've had this, that. I went, there's a place, a castle, maybe 40 minutes from here. And when I was about 2 weeks in, I said to my wife, that's it, right, I'm going out for the drive. She went, where are you going? So I said, Wewelsburg. It's about 40 minutes. And it's a big old German castle, and it's got a lot of history, but it's got a fantastic restaurant, right? And the restaurant does the best apple pie I've ever had, with a bit of cream, and you can have your latte. You can sit outside at a table and they give you a blanket.
Oh, I'm jealous. I want one right now.
No, but it's fantastic. But what I did on this occasion, I went and sat in the restaurant on my own, because if this thing farted, which is probably my biggest concern, more so than leaking or anything, the biggest concern for me is being in the lift or somewhere like that where you have to go, sorry, ostomy, or whatever you're going to do. And I went to this restaurant and I took a couple of selfies. I ate my food, got in the car, and I was so proud of myself. When you've done that first thing on your own, you're not gone with your family, you've gone, sod it, I'm going to do it. Now, when I put that on Facebook, I was almost, some people were treating you almost like a hero sort of thing because you've gone and done it. But the reason I want to do these things is to encourage everyone. If you've been rushed into hospital and you wake up with one of these and you weren't expecting it, you've got it because it saves your life.
Absolutely.
So if you've got to get your head around it, and it may take longer than others, that's fine, but you do have to get your head around it. Acceptance is the biggest thing with this.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel for those people that they may have had a car accident, or they may have something, and then they've had an operation of some kind, and then they've woken up and they've got a new friend, and it'll freak them out. But it's about realizing that this is now part of you.
Yeah.
So make the most of it, because this is benefiting you hugely.
Yeah.
Because depending on the reason for you having it, your life will be so much better with it than without.
Yeah.
And once you realise that, then you're like, right then, let's go.
Yeah. The only thing I'm not brave enough to do.
Go on.
Can you guess it?
Change your bag in front of someone.
No, flying.
Right.
Getting on a plane.
I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it yet. But I've been up somewhere high where the pressure drops.
Yeah.
Now, what happens with Sakir? He tickles me and makes more air.
Yeah.
So the only thing about it that I wouldn't be bothered too much about it. You may get a little bit of ballooning, but just go and let the air out.
And what about the going through the security and all that stuff with your stuff?
Right. With mine is a little bit different. I've
Mm.
actually had to go through security at the Winter Gardens here in Blackpool with it because
Okay.
they have to for the darts and stuff.
Yeah.
And they pat you down and they check your bag. I said, "Oh, good luck going through my bag and finding all my medical
Yeah.
supplies in there."
Yeah.
And she's there and she's
Yeah.
like this. And I've got Halo system on, so I've got metal on me,
Yeah.
and it beeps. And it beeps at you, so they have to take you to just make sure that you aren't actually carrying anything that you
Yeah.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really. I haven't had a bad experience of any sort of security or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
There
because
was
they just if they obviously they have to go through their protocol. If you beep something or they see someone that's got a bag, obviously in the past people have tried to smuggle stuff
Yeah.
in a bag, so they've got to make sure that's that. They take you into a room and they just realize that you are actually really an ostomate and everything
Yeah.
like that, and away you
They
go. They're
realise
just
you are full of poo.
yeah, basically.
So
So yeah, I've never had a problem. Some people may feel a little bit embarrassed. Obviously, it depends on how the person that's doing it is. If they're a bit of an arsehole, then it's not going to be a great
see,
experience. But
I don't have that issue because I make fun of everything that's wrong with me. Although I've had a bad 2 days, I will admit I've had a bad 2 days. Even before this, I fell asleep and because I needed a kip. The thing that does most people more so than the bag is the catheters because my bladder's gone as well.
right, mine's heading that way.
Yeah, so my bladder's gone, so I cannot pee. Nothing happens. It's just if it was
Have they
a
not
balloon.
offered you a urostomy then?
They offered me lots of things that included another surgery, and I had a bag strapped around my leg for a long time. Then I was wearing nappies because of the backside and the front side. And in all fairness, wearing nappies for the backside was the worst bit was the dribbling for a man, the smell.
Obviously.
So when they said to me, what about if we teach you how to catheterize yourself and just get on with it like that? And bear in mind, in the past, right, I've had nurses hold my hand and I'm looking at the way while they're putting things in. And what a bloke does is makes it a bigger thing than it is. So I would imagine the average nurse thinks it's a really big thing, this tube going inside a man. Must hurt them. I do it every day now. So the first thing I have to do when I get up in the morning to have a tinkle is stick a tube right in front.
I think it's more embarrassing for a man than it is for a woman because she's sticking something in somewhere that really shouldn't be having anything stuck in it.
Yeah.
For women, I've done it. I've done it as a nurse.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable. But for women, there are more. I would think so. For men, I would have gone more down possibly having a urostomy rather than catheters because they can fail. They can cause UTIs. They can cause kidney damage and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. You know what happened to me though? I write clearly in my book about wanting to die. And the operator, what I wanted to do, I didn't want to do it to myself because I know the percentages of, there's a high level percentage of one of your kids may do it or someone in your family will end up in the same frame of mind if you took your life. They will forever question themselves that I know Dad was in pain, but didn't he love me enough to stay around? So I couldn't do that, right? But what I was doing, and I'm not a religious man, I was actually getting put under and thinking, I hope this anaesthetist, just this time, this is the one where he has a bad day and he makes a mistake, then it's not my fault and I ain't got to live with this pain anymore. So when he said to me about, what about just self-catheterizing? I went, yeah, all right. Because you know what I've done now? I've created a situation where I'm scared now because when I was hoping that they would make a mistake and kill me, I don't want it to happen anymore because I've come to terms with everything that's happened to me, right? I'm now frightening myself because if they offer me an operation now, I'll be almost like, oh, like I said, TN is the only thing I would accept now. That's the only thing, because you can't.
I'm just thinking for A, the
Yep.
convenience of it, that you don't have to self-catheterize,
Yeah.
and B, the risk of infection
Yeah.
from doing that all the time to
Yeah.
your kidneys and to your urethra and everything like that,
Yeah.
may be an option you could look at in the future. I know that I'm obviously, my neurogenic bowel dysfunction is also neurogenic bladder dysfunction.
Exactly the
So
same
it's the
position,
same
just a little bit
thing.
more advanced.
So I know that the nerves that are doing my bladder
Yeah.
are on the way out.
Yeah.
I'm currently under urology, and I'm doing what's called self-voiding. So I have to actually go to the toilet every couple of hours to pee, because I don't know whether I need to or not.
Yeah.
And if I forget to do that, it will just run down my leg as I'm walking down the street. So I know that possibly a urostomy is in my future as well. So I'll be a double bag buddy.
Lovely.
Well, say going to loo a lot though, won't it?
Yeah. Let's go on to the what made you decide to start the TikTok posts?
Right. I had an absolutely disgusting and embarrassing incident at a venue here in Blackpool.
Yeah.
It was during the darts a couple of years back, and it was to do with my stoma, and the fact that they not only did the not have any disabled toilets that day, they had no ladies' toilets either, and it was one of the worst embarrassing things that I'd ever gone through. And so I thought, right, I've never done TikTok before, I've only got 6 followers, I'll just do the video.
Yeah, no, don't worry, it's all right.
So I thought, I've got 6 followers, I don't care, I had to vent, I had to get it out. So I switched the camera on, I didn't care what I looked like, and I did my thing of what had happened to me.
Yeah.
I came down a couple of hours later, and it's got thousands and thousands and thousands of views, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
If I've got that kind of attention, should I use that going forward? So I started doing other videos, and I did videos on the replies that he sent to me, and I did videos on how I was going to training standards and my MP, and I did videos, and then I started reviewing other toilets, and it just went from there.
Yeah.
Because I thought it would help other people not to have to go through what I went through.
Yeah, I use Facebook as an outlet, but I use it in a way that it's an outlet. I don't want people to say, oh, you know where I am, Al, you can always talk to me. Because my stoma is just part of a spinal cord stroke, of a rare disease. So, no one knows what I'm going through. They've learned more today what I'm going through. They will do when this gets put onto YouTube, than anyone has ever heard, unless they read the book. This is the most that's coming out, and that's because there's 2 of us in the same position. With the nerve endings. Oh man! But let's go back to the TikTok posts, which I love. What's the first or biggest worry that people have pre having a stoma, or they've got a stoma and they're brave enough to contact you on TikTok? What
They
would
want
you say
to know
the first...
the most questions that I get prior to surgery is it going to hurt?
Yeah.
How much is it going to hurt? How much pain will I be in at surgery?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question. And then afterwards, it'd be like, what can I eat?
Yeah.
Can I still have sex?
Yeah.
What's, intimacy issues?
Yeah.
And again, pain. And what about, they ask about, I've heard about I'm supposed to be able to do this, that, and the other. Can I do it? What can they do when they've had their surgery? What limitations will they have?
Yeah.
Which is basically none.
you do one of your posts, which I like, because I think it's a weird word. Pancaking. Tell people what pancaking is.
Right,
it sounds lovely.
It's blooming not. It's horrible. It's pancaking is, if you have, depending on what kind of output you have, and mine is stodgy,
Yeah.
which means it doesn't go down the bag.
Yeah.
Because it sticks there.
Yeah.
So it stays, and because it's not going down the bag, it stays there.
Yeah.
And then instead of going down, it goes across.
Yeah.
Which then pops your bag, and then that's you covered in poop.
Yeah.
So that we don't like pancaking. Pancaking is bad.
It's a great name, though, isn't it? What other one did I do?
Because the poop just flattens out and looks like a cow pat, so it's pancaking.
Have you ever considered the what's it called? The washing out? What do they call that? When the stoma nurse teaches you how to do it. So you have the bag of warm water and you put it in. You can wash out your intestines straight down into the toilet. Then what's it called?
To do an internal flush.
Yeah, flushing. That's it. Flushing.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered it?
No.
Not even if you were going on a long flight or anything.
No.
Because
I would just have. I've learned what upsets Sakir and what makes him go on a Niagara.
Yeah.
You know, what's it?
Yeah.
So I would just have that combo bomb beforehand.
Yeah. Now we've asked our the stoma nurse if she could at least show me how to do it.
Mm.
So because what I find odd, the colon that's sticking out of your belly has got no nerve endings, is it?
No.
It doesn't. It's just nothing, and it's kind of the only thing in your body. Just seems weird because when it started, the stoma nurse put her finger. No, it was at the hospital. In the hospital, I was still laying on the bed, and the doctor came in, and it was about whether I could go home or not. And she stuck her finger in up to the knuckle into my stomach.
Through your hole, yeah.
And you think, how odd? Because you've got this great big hole with all stitches around it because you've just had surgery. And this young doctor's come in and she's having a good route round, making sure it's going the right way and there's no blockages and all that stuff. So
it's a bit strange because you see this as your bum. Yeah. So when someone does that, it's like they're sticking their finger up your bum.
Which we're all programmed to not be, most
and your brain goes, that's not right.
Yeah,
that's not right.
So the question I've had a couple of instances with, I've got a blue badge on my car because I've got my disability now has been graded as 90%, so they've given me a blue badge. I have to wear a leg brace. A wheelchair will eventually come. I like walking around the supermarket because I don't need a crutch and I can hold on to the
trolley.
The trolley.
Yeah.
So I'm at that stage. But there's days when I can't get out of bed, as you've said, and the last 2 days have pretty much been that, where I have to take the medication and lay there for another probably hour until it starts doing a little bit of its business sort of thing. But I had an instance where I pulled up on a disabled parking bay, got out of the car, and the person beside me was absolutely livid, right? And I ended up you get a disability card over here, so it's got the 90% written on it and all that stuff. I ended up getting my wallet out and sticking it in his face, and then he started apologising. This fella weren't disabled, right? I weren't parking in a bay that he couldn't get into, so he couldn't get, because he couldn't get out of his wheelchair or anything like that. He was just someone sticking his 2 bobs worth in. And then I had an instance where I've got the disability key here in Germany, and it ain't like in England where you go on Amazon and you can buy one with a red plastic thing or a blue or whatever your favourite colour is. You have to go through the process. You have to prove that you're disabled. You have to send your doctor's notes and all that stuff. So I've gone to this toilet, and another one started shouting at me. I don't speak German. I can't even, as you've seen today, I can't even remember most of the ailments I've got or the tablet names because that's the way my mind works now. I don't remember a lot of things. And it's like really at the top of their voice, giving me stick because this was a particular day where I was moving bound. And so have you had instances where...
Many.
Oh, right. Okay.
I've had some where I'm in the car, and obviously I've got my blue badge on because of my MS and that.
Yeah.
And you get out of the car, and they're giving, "Where's your wheelchair?"
Yeah.
Sorry, well, it's a disabled. You're in a disabled parking spot. Yeah, we're supposed to have a wheelchair. Why?
Is that how people? I've never thought of that. They see a sign with a wheelchair on it, don't they?
Yeah,
A parking bay with a wheelchair.
yeah.
So I didn't even think of that. The average person is thinking that a disabled person has to have a wheelchair.
Yeah. That is it, because of our standard
I actually feel
disabled
embarrassed.
badge
I actually
is
feel
like that
embarrassed.
wheelchair thing. In everybody's brain, as soon as you say to someone you're disabled, the first thing that comes out of them is, "Oh, where's your wheelchair?" Not that kind of disability. Mine doesn't. Well, it may require one, but at the moment, but because they automatically think that when you haven't got one, that causes a problem.
Yeah.
And they see it as their entitlement to bring it up, especially, and I've had it from people in wheelchairs. So they're waiting outside in a wheelchair from the disabled blue, and this woman, she was actually banging on the door, and I was in the middle of doing quite a nasty change. It required some attention and some cleaning and all that. So I was a little bit of a while in there, and she's banging, come on, what are you doing in there?" But I said, "Look, I'll be out when I'm out. I can't go any quicker."
Yeah.
"Oh, well," I said, "look, I'll be out when I'm out." And when I came out, oh my God, she let rip. I'm waiting for you and you're not in a wheelchair. How dare you go in there and take that up? It's only for disabled people. And I've got, I wish I'd have had recording on, because it was
Yeah.
because I swore a lot and explained to this woman, and I ended up going in because I stopped her from going in there and giving her my bags of poop.
Yeah.
"There you go." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't realise." I said, "Yeah, well, you
That's the
didn't
problem.
ask. You didn't. So yeah, I do. So you get it quite a lot from disabled people in a wheelchair wanting to know why you're using their toilet
Do they
when you
think they're
haven't got a
superior to
wheelchair.
us? Do they think they're superior to us then?
Oh yeah, it's like a battle of
So
who's more disabled.
we're not disabled enough
No,
to use their
because we're
toilet.
not in a wheelchair. We're not disabled enough to use a disabled toilet or a disabled parking spot.
Yeah. Well, I've only had one instance at the Champions League final where a security guard would not let me go, even though I had a crutch and my leg brace on, because the leg brace kind of helps a little bit other than having the chair, because you can see that I'm disabled. But I ended up pulling my shirt up, which I didn't want to do.
To show you
I
back.
pulled up my shirt. He was embarrassed, and then his governor come over because of the raised noises. Because it wasn't me; it was other blokes at the bar going, "Let him go to the fucking toilet." You know what I mean? And then I obviously went through to this toilet, but it's the only time that I've had to do it. But what I worried about that night in particular was I'd had a few beers, several beers, and it was a really hot, humid night. And I was just worried that because of the humidity on your body, it was going to make the whole bag release. But what happened to me while I was on that trip, when I was planning to come home, I bent over onto a put you up bed in this room where I had my case. And when I bent over, because like you with the dizziness, it happened to me as I bent over. So I went backwards, smashed my head. My head bounced off the concrete floor. I ended up stuck in Budapest with a concussion, a severe concussion that I just thought it was because I had these flickering, floaters and everything.
Yeah.
So I had to drive then to Prague. I stayed the night in Prague. I couldn't even walk from the room to the McDonald's to get something because the right leg had gone completely. And I managed to get home another 7 hours after that from Prague. Went for an MRI, and I had there's something on my frontal lobe that can either be nothing or something. So
they found a shadow.
Yeah, got something like that. So, and what they say with these shadows, which you know more than me, it can either be something or it can be completely innocent, nothing. So
you could have had a minor brain bleed from your concussion.
Yeah.
So what that shadow could have been old blood that's been sat there, and that can just dissipate and go. Or you've created a hematoma, which has created a swelling on your brain.
Yeah.
So that can cause a shadow, and again, that can come down. But if the hematoma is bad, then it may have to go in and sort of pop it,
Yeah. Well,
release it.
bear in mind that the MRI was a considerable time after
Right.
it happened. So maybe this thing was just, I don't know.
You would have had more symptoms before now if it was anything.
Yeah. Well, they're not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. All it kept happening. I would say for a few weeks you would be fine, and then all of a sudden you'd be in your car, and you'd feel like you've just come out of the pub after 3 or 4, and the air's hit you just from nowhere, and just as you thought you've got over this concussion, it reared its ugly head again. It went on for weeks and weeks. Yeah, so look, I like to keep these around the hour mark. We're coming up to that.
That's
my cat. That's fine.
We could do another one anytime you want to.
Well, this has been absolutely brilliant. And I would like to do another one with you. We give it a few months, and things will be changing in the way I'm dealing with my stuff.
Yeah,
I might have been on a flight by then, and we'd do it again. So I'm gonna thank you from the bottom of my heart, or the bottom of my bag, or whatever you want to say. Thank you.
Buddies unite.
Yeah. Thank you for being open and honest. It's not easy for a lot of people to do it, and it's good that you are. And thank you on behalf of everyone on TikTok that you make so happy and calm. Because
I do try.
Yeah,
as my husband says, very trying.
But people that are not interacting with you are still watching the posts.
Which is,
that's the most important.
A lot of people do TikTok for the likes, for the gifts, for the this, for the that. I don't do it for that.
Yeah.
I do it. If my posts help somebody get through something that can be the most traumatic thing in their life, then fab.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's what the position I'm in. I've got a good friend that talks on my podcast about addiction. And it's not for attention. The things that he's been through when he's been in prison and stuff like that, it's not stuff that you really want to tell people. But he's telling people to help people, to stop them.
Yeah, because if someone sees it and they're going through that, they can see someone who's gone through that, and it might not make it as bad for them.
Exactly.
And help them get through maybe a sticky part that they're in.
So on that note, I'm going to press the stop button. What will happen is this will, just so you know, this will start to download. I'll get the download. I'll send you a copy, a link, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. You can put it on your YouTube, so on your TikTok or any platforms you use, because I'm sure people will be interested to hear what you've been through. Because the people on TikTok know your bits that you post, but they don't know the full story. So this made me grateful. So
I'm getting blooming people sending me messages, and I have to keep moving.
Don't worry. We're done now. Thanks. I really, really appreciate it. It's been
the only bit that I was disappointed is that I had to go and put loads of makeup on, because I don't have to do it when I do TikTok. I just press a button that says makeup and it does it for me. And I'm terrible at putting makeup on, so I don't look as good as what I do when I'm on TikTok.
Well, imagine how I feel. I've got an elastic band on the back of my head pulling my skin smooth. So anyway,
but
thank you. I'll send you a message later on when everything's
anytime.
uploaded.
Just let me know if anyone sends you any questions or anything like that, and sort of got anything specific if they want you to ask. No problem.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. You are the best.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Andrew.
I hope that you've not got a TN attack today as well. So
yeah, same to you.
Yeah.
Talk to you later. Bye.
You too. Bye.